Good evening. My name is Michael Scaffidi. I am the president of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association and the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's program. Welcome to the 12th annual and our first virtual Judicial Officer Award Ceremony. We are happy you all can join us to honor the Honorable Bryan F. Foster with the Judicial Officer of the Year Award and the Honorable Reilly with the Lifetime Achievement Award. This year, we will also be honoring attorney Mitchell Ira Roth posthumously with the newly named Mitchell Roth Service Award. We'll talk about that a little later on when we honor Mitch. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we present America the Beautiful, performed by the San Bernardino Symphony. Wow, that was just an amazing presentation. I hope each of you felt it like I did. Thanks, Dean McVeigh and everyone from the board of the San Bernardino Symphony, and thank you, Maestro, for allowing us to present such beautiful music at our event. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. At this time, I'd like to thank all the sponsors who helped us put on this wonderful program. Our diamond sponsors, Larson LLP, Rizzio and Lipinski, Chernoff, Bredart, Echeverria LLP, and the law offices of Michael A. Scafidi. Our platinum sponsors, the Paris Firm and Varner and Brandt LLP. Our gold sponsors, law offices of Bryan Brandt, the law offices of David M. Goldstein, law offices of Joyce Holcomb, and the University of Luverne College of Law. Silver sponsors, David H. Ricks and Associates, Fullerton, Lemon, Schaefer, and Dominic LLP. In honor of Jennifer Brooks, Wendy and Sharman Brooks. Law offices of Justin H. King, law office of Taylor B. Warner, a professional law corporation. Louis Brisbois Bisgard and Smith LLP, Marivel Z. Alcita, MMZ Law. Matthew L. Taylor, receiver and partitioner referee. Milligan, Beswick, Levine and Knox LLP, Walker and Mann LLP. Our bronze sponsors, the Honorable Janet M. Frangi, Honorable Kyle Brody, Honorable R. Glenn Ubuno, Law Office of Fernando D. Vargas, Law Office of Randall P. Hanna, Law Office of Angelique Bonanno, Law Offices of Diane M. Hartog, Law Offices of Rebecca Perkins, Paul Scheimoff of Scheinoff Law Corporation, APC, and Will Wooden, Deputy District Attorney, San Bernardino County. Thank you, everyone. At this time, our local elected officials are going to present a congratulatory video on behalf of our honorees.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you, even if we're just online tonight. You know, normally this event is held at the Doubletree in Ontario, which is fantastic because we get those wonderful cookies that they bake. I know I'm not nearly as good of a baker, so I'm not eating anything that good tonight, but it's still a pleasure to be with you and to celebrate. And tonight we are celebrating some incredible achievements for your members and for our community. Before we get to the congratulations, I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the family of attorney Mitchell Roth, who left us this year after being involved with the Bar Association for more than 25 years. There are so many people who have departed in 2020 and early 2021, and our hearts are with them. My condolences and deepest sympathy to his family and to all of you who were his friends, and my recognition of the great contributions he made to our community. And on the line of great contributions to our community, congratulations tonight to Judge Bryan Foster, who is being recognized as the Judicial Officer of the Year. I can't even imagine what a stressful year it was for folks in our court system, and to have earned this honor in this year of all years is pretty special. Congratulations, Judge. And my other congratulations to Judge Tara Reilly, who is being honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. That strikes me really odd because I remember when we were trying to get her appointed to the court. And so to now have her earning a Lifetime Achievement Award makes me feel a little on the older side. Tara, congratulations on your incredible achievements, the great work you have done for the residents of San Bernardino County and the cause of justice. I'm grateful that the Bar Association is honoring you tonight and recognizing your great accomplishments. My friends, I hope we can be together again next year, both to celebrate in person and to enjoy some wonderful cookies. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all. Bye-bye.
On behalf of the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, I want to congratulate this year's recipients on receiving these coveted awards. The awardees are being recognized for their outstanding achievements in both reputation and commitment to judicial excellence. We thank each of you for the contributions that you have made for the betterment of the judicial system and for the public that it serves. Your steadfast commitment to enhancing civility, courtesy, and professionalism throughout your legal career has made you stand out amongst your peers. The contributions that you have made will be remembered for generations to come. I join your colleagues, your friends, and families in congratulating you on a job well done. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Joe Baca Jr., 5th District San Bernardino County Supervisor. I am thrilled to participate in the Western San Bernardino County Association's 12th Annual Judicial Awards Ceremony. The Western Bar Association is a valuable organization that ensures the principles of justice and integrity in the legal profession. All of today's honorees are well deserving of the recognition. First, we recognize San Bernardino Superior Court Judge Bryan F. Foster. With the Judicial Officer of the Year Award, Judge Foster has a lifetime commitment to trial advocacy and the San Bernardino Superior Court. Judge Foster has earned this recognition because of consistent and significant contribution to the judiciary's betterment and the public it serves. Our community is indebted to you for your service. Next, we want to recognize San Bernardino Superior Court Judge Tara Reilly with the Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award. Judge Reilly has earned this accolade because of her distinguished track record of providing impartial justice for all, including expanding access for low-income and moderate-income litigants. It is truly a privilege to honor you, Judge Reilly. Finally, we provide a posthumous honor of renaming the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association Service Award after Mitchell Roth. Mr. Roth exhibited dutiful and steadfast service to the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. May all who receive this award live up to the stature of its namesake, Mitchell Roth. May we all follow today's honoree's example by making an impact on the lives of others. Thank you, Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, for allowing me to be part of such a prestigious event. Let's all give a round of applause to all of today's honorees.
Hi, I'm Kurt Hagman, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors for San Bernardino County, and we want to thank the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association for all you do in the community. Each of you play a very important role in effectively communicating and helping promote the administration of justice among association members, the judiciary, and to the public. I want to congratulate both recipients tonight on their outstanding achievements and contributions. The County of San Bernardino is so fortunate to have citizens of such high caliber whose efforts reflect the high ideas of public leadership and public service. You have all sought to bring the renewed mutual cooperation of local bar associations and encourage the bar association's programs, which benefit both the legal profession and the public at large for the San Bernardino County Courts. And for this, we thank you. Congratulations and stay safe.
I want to take this opportunity to present both Judge Foster and Judge Reilly with some certificates, proclamations, and resolutions from local, state, and federal officials. The first is a proclamation from the Ranch Cucamonga City Council. We also have a resolution honoring the Honorable Bryan F. Foster and the Honorable Tara Reilly, of the Mayor of the City Council of the City of San Bernardino and council members. We have a resolution from the Board of Supervisors from San Bernardino County. And finally, we have a letter of congratulations written by the Honorable Dianne Feinstein, Senator of the State of California, to the United States Senate. It is now time to present our first award of the evening, and it's the very first time we'll be presenting this award as the Mitchell Roth Service Award. While almost everyone in our legal community knows Mitchell, I just want to talk a little bit about him and the things that he's accomplished. Mitchell Roth was a well-established and respected probate attorney in the Inland Empire who gave his time and his energy not only for the practice of law, but also to helping selfishly with the respect of the needs of the court and our legal community. He also generously served on the board of directors for Western San Bernardino County Bar Association for over 25 years. That's a long time. He promoted all the time and established the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association Service Award for individuals in our legal community who stand out above the rest and go beyond the call of duty. Our hearts are sorrowful with the loss of our great colleague and dear friend. In recognition of Mitchell, the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association is proud to rename this prestigious award the Mitchell Roth Service Award. Now, if I can take just a personal liberty to talk just a little about my dear friend Mitchell Roth. Mitch passed on December 2nd, 2020, unexpectedly and much too young. But I could truly say that Mitch, in this last year, despite the COVID pandemic, was never more happy. He had the love of his life. He just bought a new home, and he was looking to continue to do great things personally and professionally. I had the pleasure of attending one of the warmest, kindest welcome in a memorial with over 200 people talking about Mitch for 3 hours. And the stories were all the same. And it's always about Mitch being this gracious man, this giant of a man who just had a good time and cared about others. For me, I will miss our late night talks, our arguments, which team sucked worse, the New York Jets or the New York Giants, talking about music, whether Bruce Springsteen is better than U2, and attending concerts and travel, but most importantly, our talks about the law and our talks about giving back to our legal community. Mitch will be forever missed from those who know him and those in our legal community. From the bottom of my heart, I miss him every day. And Mitchell, I love you, brother. I think about you often. Rest well, my friend. So we have 3 speakers tonight who are going to talk about Mitchell, who is the first recipient of the newly named Mitchell Roth Service Award. The first person to speak about Mitchell is tonight's Lifetime Judicial Achievement Award winner, the Honorable Tara Reilly.
Good evening. The Mitchell Roth Service Award is appropriately being awarded for the first time this evening to its namesake, Mitchell Ira Roth. This would be a perfect moment, and possibly having the opportunity to roast Mitchell, at least a little bit, would make it even more perfect, if only this award wasn't being given posthumously. The award has historically been known as the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association Service Award and was established and promoted by Mitchell during his 25 years as a board member of this bar association. It is an award given to individuals in our legal community who stand out, who go beyond the call of duty in service to the needs of our legal community and to our court. To the person who is always looking for the opportunity to be of assistance, to be of service to others, to do good. That is a tall order. And if I may add, the award is aptly renamed. In the 7 or so years that I knew Mitchell Roth, he donated hundreds of hours to our court as a pro tem, covering our probate courts. And I'm not exaggerating in the number of hours that he gave freely of his time. He loved hearing cases and making decisions. He would come in the afternoon before, prep the cases, and be very excited about coming back and taking the bench the following morning. He was very well received on the bench. No one ever complained about the decisions that Mitchell made. Our pro tems allow the court to keep courtrooms open on days where judges are sick or on vacation. They are richly rewarded with our gratitude and nothing else. Mitchell also served as court-appointed counsel and as a guardian ad litem in hundreds of cases in both the probate and the civil courts. He was appointed in the most complex and difficult of cases, and I mean that both in terms of the legal complexity as well as the emotional complexity. He imaginatively settled cases, zealously advocated and protected the interests of his client or the person for whom he was serving as guardian ad litem. His greatest concern was always for the most vulnerable and the neediest of litigants appearing in our probate and civil courts. Although he was capable of righteously expressing indignation from time to time, he was at his finest and enjoyed most his role as peacemaker in these cases. He was, of course, paid for his court-appointed representation, usually at a substantially reduced rate, and oftentimes by agreeing to reduce the number of billed hours. Mitchell Roth knew, truly, genuinely knew, almost every court employee in every court in our county. He would be the first person to offer assistance to someone in need, encouragement, or kudos when needed. He did so behind the scenes, never expecting acknowledgement or any kind of repayment. Mitchell was truly interested in and concerned about the human condition in general and the lives of those with whom he regularly interacted in particular. After his death, with rare exception, every person that I heard speak about Mitchell Roth described him as their best friend, or their very dear friend, or a very close friend. From bench officers and court employees to attorneys and deadheads, loyal Springsteen fans to sports fans, and that would be any kind of sports fan. He was a dear friend. During the pandemic, he insisted that the court needed to do something to help heirs, beneficiaries, and attorneys receive distributions and payments that they were otherwise entitled to, but for the fact they couldn't get into court. We were closed. He gave us the idea that led to a fast-track program for certain types of accountings, ultimately leading to the distribution of millions of dollars to heirs, beneficiaries, and attorneys. I will share with you that Mitchell Roth was not one of those attorneys who received any of that money. He truly was genuinely concerned that other lawyers were in need. Doing a bit of research, looking something up, Googling, in other words, is really a judicial occupational hazard. When you have a moment, Google the word mensch. You'll discover a number of excellent descriptions of my dear friend, Mitchell Roth. Quote, one of the hallmarks of a mensch is empathy and compassion, someone who genuinely cares for those around him. A mensch will always look for an opportunity to do good in life and be of help to others, a person of integrity and honor, a good person. So you could think of this as the award named for a mensch, or simply as the Mensch Award. Either way, it memorializes one of the finest persons any of us could ever hope to meet in life. Thank you.
Our second speaker to talk about Mitchell is a local attorney, family law attorney, a dear friend of mine, and one of Mitchell's best friends in the whole world. She is recently elected to be the first woman president of the Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino Board of Directors. She is a brilliant lawyer and an even better person. My dear friend, Joyce Holcomb.
Mitchell Ira Roth. I refer to him as Mitch. He was taken from us far too soon, but he left a legacy. He was a successful attorney, a family man, and everyone's best friend. As an attorney, he had extraordinary strong ethics, and it was important for those around him to follow the rules. He was also the man to know. Beyond maintaining a solo probate practice, he volunteered his time with the court. He would sit pro tem for the probate bench and was a conduit between the court and attorneys. He would not hesitate to avail himself to other attorneys if they had questions, and if he didn't know the answer, he was the man who could find the answer, or at least point you in the right direction. As to his family, Mitch was not married and did not have children. However, he did share his life with Marcella for the last year, and that made him very happy. But he was also a good son, a big brother to Chopper and to Bonnie, and he made sure to speak to his mother at least twice a day. And he made sure that her needs were attended to. As for his little sister Bonnie, she is a school teacher at Pacific Palisades. In fact, in September, she found out that she won Teacher of the Year award. He was so proud of her. Although he could not be present to see her receive the award, I can tell you, Bonnie, he was very proud of you. He was everyone's best friend, whether you were friends through the Bruce Springsteen or the Grateful Dead concerts, or a friend from his travels through sports, or a friend from the East Coast Friends, or even the local friends here in our legal community. He was everyone's best friend. He would take time to make sure that he communicated with everyone, and often he would say, "Gotta go." He was a man of no goodbyes. He had a way to make you feel very special, and he had the uncanny ability to stay in contact with many people. But I feel the most important thing that Mitch taught me is to live life to the fullest. Now, I know we all miss Mitch. Therefore, I challenge each and every one of you to be like Mitch. Live life to the fullest and be the best in your career field and be the best friend to someone.
Third speaker is, in my opinion, my humble opinion, one of the best lawyers in the last 30 years to practice law in the Inland Empire. He practices a specialty of medical malpractice for plaintiffs and claimants. A dear friend, wonderful lawyer, great speaker, an outstanding human being, Jeffrey Rains.
Good evening. Before I begin my comments about Mitchell, I would like to take a moment and share a couple thoughts about Judge Reilly. I want to congratulate you, Judge Reilly, on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. Your passion, your enthusiasm, your absolute commitment to the rule of law is something that we all look up to when we come into your court, period. You richly deserve this award, and I want to personally extend my congratulations to you. I was asked this evening to share my thoughts both about Judge Foster and about Mitchell Roth. I was asked to talk about Mitchell and the high honor that he's receiving from the Western Bar Association. And I want to comment that not only is Mitchell and his memory receiving this award, but here's to his parents and his family who undoubtedly bestowed these values in him, and hopefully is receiving some love and solace in knowing how greatly respected Mitchell was and is and will forever be in our community. I'm privileged to proverbially be carrying this torch, and I will soon hand it to each of you. And perhaps even more importantly, for the lawyers that will follow all of us, and even those who don't know yet that they're going to be attorneys, charity, brotherhood, assistance will always be the hallmark of practicing law. And so to have your name on a service award is something that few, if any of us, could dream of. May we remember to always love this leader, and let us assure that his light and the light of this award will forever burn to assist those in need, and assist those in need with the courage and the spirit, the determination, and the selflessness that was always shown by Mitchell Roth. With the award now bearing his name in perpetuity, the torch will imbue a bright light for eternity. I have little, if any, doubt that my experiences with Mitchell were much like yours. They could happen early in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, or 10 o'clock at night. But one night at 9:30, the phone rings. It always starts the same way. "Hey, Mitchell." And I knew who it was, of course. And he said, I said, "Hello?" He says, "Reilly doesn't like you." I said, "What?" He said, "She was really tough on you today." I said, I know, but that's okay. She had questions, and a month from now, we'll clarify these things." And he said, "Yeah, maybe so, but I still don't think she likes you." So a month later, we appear again in Judge Reilly's court, and I get a call that night. He says, "Oh my God, Reilly loved your argument." And all I could do is laugh. And I'm still laughing For once, I received some balance from Mitchell. And before we were done talking, I hear a little sound coming into his phone because someone else needs to talk to him. Gotta go, gotta run. And that's all you ever heard. There were no goodbyes. Gotta run. And Mitch was gone. The following week, I receive another call and he says this to me. Hey, are you as good as Panish? I said, I don't know. Why don't you ask Panish? But these are the kinds of little pokes that Mitchell would share with you whenever he felt it was appropriate. And then he said, did you see Giants game, the New York Giants on Sunday? And I said, my father would be so ashamed. Ashamed was his word. And I said, okay, hey, listen, I got to go. He goes, I got one more question. He said, name the 4 20-game winners for the 1966 Baltimore Orioles. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. I said, Cuellar, Pat Dobson, Jim McAnally, and Jim Palmer. Dead silence. He says, nobody gets that right. I said, well, apparently somebody does. And I mean this with absolute sincerity. I think it was at that moment that we became special friends. You see, it was impossible to like Mitch. You could only love Mitch. You cherished your friendships with Mitch. He was so smart. He was so big. He was caring. He was involved. You couldn't like him. You loved him. Mitchell was that hug that never quite ended. He was the smile that invariably ended in laughter. He was an impish Mark Twain character, and then at other times he was a very mysterious Arthur Conan Doyle sleuth. And it was up to you to know who he was that day. But beware, that stain on his suit, that spot on his tie, loosened, ever crooked, wrinkled collar, that was a costume. Deep down, that tousled hair, the little bit disheveled look, that was all Mitchell. Mitchell was the consummate advocate. Above all, he always cared and he was always prepared. In my mind, Mitchell Roth was a perfect imperfection. We each have known many lawyers who are caring and giving of their time. But in my 45 years of the practice of law, as many great lawyers as I've known, I've never known anybody as giving of their time in the combination of both business and charity, helping a younger lawyer, going to legal aid, sitting on board after board after board, many of them for 15, 20, 25 years. Mitchell was the dean of playing it forward. And then the phone would ring again, and it would be Mitchell. He'd say, hey, it's Game 7 of the World Series. Who's starting for you? I said, right-hander or left? He says, both. I said, okay, well, right-handed, I'm going to go with Bob Gibson. He goes, I love Gibson. That's who I'd go with, too. He says, what about left? I said, I'd go with Sandy Koufax. He said he had a really short career. I said, Mitchell, you said one game, not a career, one game. He says, all right, you got me there. You rarely got Mitchell, but I do remember that one. And so now I'd like to share one with you. You only have one choice. Who do you know that achieved the ultimate consummate respect from the bench, from the bar, from his clients, from the vital personnel that basically administers the court, from his opponents, and from those who knew him and those who only knew of him? Mitchell Roth. At this point, I feel like I want to tell him to rest in peace, but I know better, because Mitchell will not rest in peace. He's busy. He knows Springsteen's going to be back on tour soon. He knows Jerry Garcia can provide some vital answers for him, like whether or not a performance of Uncle John's band was better on Long Island or in Los Angeles. These things were important to him. Sports, law, music. He was an absolute aficionado. He wants to argue whether or not Dark Star was a better song than Ripple. You each have your own stories. Tell him. Remember Mitchell always. remember why he received this award, and let's honor him by continuing his charity. Let's tell his stories, and in time, his stories, including his prowess, strikeouts will get fewer, and his home runs will get longer. We love you dearly, my friend. We love your family and everything that you've meant to the county bar and to each of us individually. Mitchell, we were lucky to get a ticket to your show. Thank you.
At this time, it is my pleasure to present the Mitchell Roth Service Award to the love of Mitchell's life, Marcela Pena. Marcela, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much to you, Mike, and to the board and to the members of the Western San Bernardino County Bar. I am honored to receive this award on behalf of the Roth family. My name is Marcela Pena. I was Mitchell's partner. Mitchell would have been extremely humbled and utterly honored to receive this award today. Everyone that knew him knows that he loved his job very much. Everybody that knew him knows that he loved his career. But Mitchell was more than just a lawyer. Mitchell was a friend to his colleagues, to his clients, to this community, and to all those who needed him. Everyone that knew him or that needed his help knew that he would be there for them. No questions asked, no matter the time of day. I can recall an incident one late evening in San Bernardino when I called him out of the blue because there was an emergency. He was there, no questions asked, even though we had just met, but he was there as a friend. One of the overarching messages that I have received after his passing from many walks of life, from many people, is that he was a friend to people all over the world. No matter the continent, no matter that person's walk of life, they felt like Mitchell was their friend and was there to help them. Mitchell, unfortunately, left us all too early, but his legacy of service will live on through this award and through all those he inspired. I wanted to end this by saying that Mitchell was my best friend, like he was to all. And he was also my hero. If Mitchell is listening, I would like to tell him that he's very much missed. Thank you so much again for this honor. Thank you.
And now it's with great pride and honor that I present our final speaker in regards to Mitch Roth. Our next speaker is Mitch's sister, Bonnie Roth.
It's a great honor to accept this award on behalf of the Roth family. My mom, Thelma, my brother, Andrew, and I couldn't be prouder today. My brother, Mitch, loved being an attorney. He used to tell us that all the time. I recently had a conversation with him about the topic of retirement. He laughed, said he never thought about it, and imagined he'd still be practicing law in his 70s. The days when Mitch filled in as a judge seemed to be some of his proudest, and let me tell you, we felt the same way. Our family was in awe of Mitch's intelligence. He seemed to know something about everything. His generosity, sense of humor, calm demeanor, integrity, and the way he took care of everyone around him made a deep impression on the many lives he touched. Our family knew he had our backs, and we put our complete trust in him. I imagine this is how his friends, clients, and colleagues felt too. After Mitch's passing, our family heard from so many people, near and far, who knew my brother from all different aspects of his life. Whether the relationships were formed professionally through his side gig of professional concert goer or fellow sports enthusiast, or the personal friendships he developed over the years, everyone expressed similar sentiments. He was loved by all and truly was one of a kind. My brother left us way too soon. There is a famous quote stating, "And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years." Mitchell was the perfect example of that. He truly loved being an attorney, traveling the world, seeing every concert and sporting event imaginable, and was surrounded by friends and family members who just adored him. It fills our hearts to know he lived his life bravely, boldly, and passionately. He made everyone's life a little bit better just by being in it and by being himself. Our family misses him terribly. He was our rock and our hero, but we find some comfort in knowing that the last year of his life was his happiest. As his favorite musician, Bruce Springsteen, sings, "Now your death is upon us, and we'll return your ashes to the earth. And I know you'll take comfort in knowing you've been roundly blessed and cursed. But love is a power greater than death, just like the songs and stories told. And when they built you, brother, they broke the mold." On behalf of the Roth family, we'd like to thank you for honoring who Mitchell was as a person, his life's work, and for allowing us to be part of this incredible experience. His memory lives on in our hearts, and we are beaming with pride that his legacy will endure through the Mitchell Roth Service Award. Thank you very much.
Our second award this evening is the Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award, and we're going to be honoring the Honorable Tara Reilly. I'd like to tell you a little bit about this award. The Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award honors a current or retired judge, commissioner, or Court of Appeals justice from San Bernardino County, Eastern Los Angeles County, or Riverside County, who is recognized as having a reputation for and commitment to judicial excellence, has achieved a significant length of service as a judicial officer, and has demonstrated a long-term, consistent, and significant contribution to the betterment of the judiciary and the public it serves. The first speaker to talk about Judge Reilly is the Honorable Lynn Ponson.
Congratulations to both Judge Foster and Judge Reilly on their well-deserved awards. It's my honor to be here tonight to speak on behalf of my friend and colleague, Judge Reilly. If I had to use one word to describe her, it would be that she is compassionate. I first encountered Judge Reilly when I was transferred from the Fontana District Attorney's Office to the office in San Bernardino. I was asked to appear on behalf of another Deputy District Attorney in adult drug court. What I recall most that day is the compassion that Judge Reilly had for the defendants appearing before her. They were not just numbers on a file or criminal defendants that deserved just to be punished. These were individuals. They were someone's brother, a sister, mother, or father. These were individuals in need of rehabilitation. It was the first time I had appeared in drug court and my first exposure to treatment courts. If you look at Judge Reilly's career as a judge, her assignments include adult drug court, the PRIDE program, the STAR mental health court, homeless court, and veterans court, as well as family law and probate. She is currently the supervising judge of the probate department, where she deals with conservatorships, guardianships, elder abuse, and LPS court. She supervises the only probate department in the state that operates a courtroom in the county locked psychiatric facility. Her assignments over the years reflect her compassion in serving the people of the county of San Bernardino. She has given of herself in assignments that can be emotionally draining. Day after day, people come to her with problems, and she tries to mend that which is broken while still being true to the law. It can be a difficult road to navigate, but Judge Reilly does it with empathy and with grace. I asked some of the probate attorneys who regularly appear in front of her if they would like to contribute some comments. Mr. Mark McGuire stated that two things come to mind. First, Judge Reilly has no problem making a tough call. She's never shy about giving a tentative ruling, and she's willing to change her mind based on arguments and facts presented. He said that it is apparent that she listens to what is said, and she reads everything that is presented by the parties. Second, she cares on all sides and in all ways. She will speak kind words to those she rules against, and she takes time to explain her ruling so the parties understand why she's ruling a certain way. And she also has no problem speaking harshly to parties or counsel who acted poorly, even if she is ruling in their favor. Mr. Thomas Dominic also contributed some comments to me that he would like to share. He said that Judge Reilly is truly deserving of this recognition. He was first introduced to Judge Reilly when she transferred from family law to the probate department. During her first few weeks handling probate matters, Mr. Dominic says that it was refreshing to hear her concede that she knew very little about probate, and she invited the attorneys to educate her. He said that Judge Reilly is a hardworking judge who is always well prepared. She has a great command of her courtroom, and she has an excellent judicial demeanor. She's respectful of the lawyers and self-represented litigants who appear before her, and she has turned out to be one of the finest probate judges in the state. Judge Reilly is respected by both the bench and the bar. She exhibits the traits that we try to impart to newer bench officers and temporary judges. Judge Reilly and I have both taught the bench decorum class for temporary judges. We tell them to listen to the parties and be mindful of the problems that the parties are facing, and to remember that not everyone will walk out of your courtroom being satisfied with the outcome. But if you can explain to them why you are ruling a certain way and let them be heard, then they will walk away with some satisfaction. Judge Reilly takes these words to heart each day that she takes the bench. The only assignment that Judge Reilly has not handled during her career has been juvenile dependency. Other than that, she has handled every possible assignment and treatment court. She says that one of the best parts of her job has been learning new areas of law. She has contributed so much to the community that she has served well and faithfully for these past years. Her life and her career to the law and to the people of the county of San Bernardino have been well lived. She has given of herself with great compassion and grace, and we are all better because of it. Congratulations, Judge Reilly, on your Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award.
It is with much pride and honor that I have this opportunity to speak a little bit about Judge Reilly. I've known Judge Reilly for about 20 years. I know her from her being on the bench and appearing in front of her as a lawyer. I also know her from Aquinas High School and at social events and sporting events at Aquinas High School. And I was so happy to learn that Judge Reilly was going to receive this award. And it's for two reasons. The first one's simple. Judge Reilly honors our system of justice every day she puts her robe on. Whenever you walk into her courtroom, the first thing you see is her smiling face. She has kind words for everyone, whether it's lawyers, court staff, court attendants, security, participants, litigants, criminal defendants, people involved in our collaborative courts, mental health court, veterans court. She always has a kind word and a smile for everyone. She truly lets you know when you walk in there that this is a place that you can be safe. This is a place where you will be heard. And she does that with her demeanor, her calming words, and her intellectual capacity. She knows the law. She doesn't try to make new law. She tries to do her best every time she makes a ruling consistent with the law. And that's how I know her professionally. But Judge Reilly, the true gift of anyone who knows Judge Reilly is her as the person. She is just an amazing woman. Her laugh, when you hear her laugh, makes you giggle. Her ability to make people feel at ease, who she first meets, makes you feel good knowing she is a humble person. The thing that I'm most impressed about Judge Reilly is that she is down to earth. If you didn't know she was a judge, you could think she works in 1,000 different jobs because she has that approachability. One of the first times I talked to her about away from the courthouse was when I learned that she was a part of the Shamrock Club years and years ago. And it was a local organization that would give scholarships to students in the San Bernardino area. And I thought it was real interesting that she would dedicate herself to doing that. Finally, I think for me, what really makes me have this great affinity, and quite frankly, a love for Judge Reilly, is that she cares so deeply about people. She cares so deeply about human suffering. She always wants to make it better, and so people can feel good. We both lost a great friend in Mitchell Roth. And I can tell you this, during conversations, we shared a lot of Mitchell Roth stories, some that are not going to be able to be told tonight, but more importantly, we shared a lot of tears about the loss of our great friend. So it's my honor to thank Judge Reilly for everything she's done over the course of her judicial career. I congratulate her, well-deserved work, and I am so, so proud of her. At this time, it is my great pleasure to bring up the Honorable Tara Reilly to receive her Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award. Judge Reilly, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for all those you help.
Congratulations to my intelligent, kind, hardworking colleague with a great, if not occasionally corny sense of humor, Judge Bryan Foster, for being chosen Judge of the Year by the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. And thank you to the board of the Bar Association for honoring me with the Judicial Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, to the extent that I've achieved any success during my 24 and counting years on the bench, it is due almost entirely to groups of people that have accompanied me throughout my judicial career. My judicial colleagues on our bench and throughout the state of California who have educated, mentored, politely guided, you may read corrected there, supported, advised, and patiently listened to me throughout the years. Throughout my judicial career, I have sat on the most under-resourced bench in the state. This has required a great deal of creativity, organization, and commitment from our bench officers to provide the necessary access to justice that our communities are really entitled to do and deserve. Not always easy to get along, or see eye to eye, or even agree. Yet my colleagues have always supported me throughout each assignment that I have had with patience, great scripts, wonderful forms, recommendations on the best classes to take, and yes, constructive criticism and friendly guidance. I have learned great lessons from my colleagues, not just as a judge, but also as a person. Some of my closest colleagues are people whose politics are quite different from mine, yet we have always been able to find common ground and concern in the work that we do and our overriding concerns for the dispensation of equal justice under the law and the independence of our third branch of government. Judge Steve Salson, then a senior partner at Gresham, Varner, Savage, Nolan, and Tilden, hired me out of law school and is the reason I came to the Inland Empire. Judges Brian McCarville, Pat Morris, and Justice Betty Richley were my earliest mentors. Judge Mike Dest taught me all there is to know about great scripts and accurate forms. Judge Art Harrison, then a supervising district attorney, put up with me as a brand new judge who knew absolutely nothing about criminal law. Judge Chris Warner and I emailed each other for years, every July 2nd, the day we were both appointed to the bench by then Governor Pete Wilson, to remind each other that this is the greatest job in the world, even on its worst day. The wonderful characters, John Wade, John Martin, Phil Morris, Doug Fettel, Rex Victor, all made me laugh, scared me half to death time and again, caused me to raise my eyebrows more than once or twice, but more importantly, shared true pearls of wisdom about the art of judging. Judge Mike Welsh, who we lost this past year, taught me that former adversaries can become good friends and great teachers. Judge Chip Haight taught me patience, and that some USC alums really are very decent, pretty intelligent people. Judge David Cohn captured my heart and lovingly puts up with me on a daily basis. And Judges Lynn Ponson, Carlos Cabrera, Corey Lee, Tony Raphael, Joel Agron, Lisa Rogan, Kim Apalou, Aaron Alexander, and Michelle Galise all give me great hope for the future of our bench. My staff over the years, the bailiffs, my court attendant, court reporters, and JAs, formerly known as courtroom clerks, have taught me the practical aspects of being a judge on the bench. On days that weren't my finest, they supported me, kindly suggested other options I might want to consider in the future, or simply and kindly ignored my faux pas. They have kept me organized, timely for the most part, and given me great insight into how my decisions and rulings have affected the parties in front of me. Deputies Mike Johnson, Eddie McLeod, and Paul Berry kept me safe and sane. Court reporters Linda Meekin, Sophia Lisea, and Kim McGilvery have made me sound really good on the record and reminded me when it was time to go back on that record. And then there's Liz, Elizabeth Dethridge, the J.A. Liz has been with me since the day I was sworn in on July 25th, 1996, except for the brief time that she dumped me for Judge McCarville, but she did come back a few years later. I would run out of time if I were to list the many ways that Liz has supported me, saved me, taught me, and been my dear friend for the past 24 years. Suffice it to say, I do know I would not be standing here this evening receiving this award if it hadn't been for her quiet, intelligent, kind partnership over the years. Our court administration has also ensured that in every assignment that I have been in, I have had whatever resources were available at hand to do my job. Every organization should be so fortunate as to have a Mary Myach Davis guiding it and deeply caring for its employees. If you want insights about our court and its administration, spend some time with Ms. Davis. The attorneys who have tested me, patiently educated me, supported me, and taken the time to make me a better judge in each practice area that I have been so fortunate to have sat in. You have been wonderful partners in creating a legal environment in which we all share essentially the same goal: to ensure that litigants are fairly heard, fairly treated by bench officers who are well informed and prepared. I have learned from all of you, not always the most enjoyable or painful lessons, but lessons that I hope have made me a better judge. I started a list to name names, and then I realized that list was going to be way too long and really necessarily needed to include every attorney that has ever appeared in front of me. The parties who have brought their cases to court have reminded me of how fortunate I have been in life and have often humbled me with their strength, grace, and courage as they have squarely faced addiction and mental health issues, sought relief from ongoing domestic violence or elder abuse, committed their entire lives to caring for a developmentally disabled child or ill relative, and trusted the court to fairly decide disputes that have arisen in their lives. My family. I am my mother's daughter. She was the first woman in her family to receive a college education, was a social worker in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and later a special education teacher. She raised my brothers and me to remember that much is expected from those to whom much is given, and that we have a moral obligation to care for and meaningfully participate in whatever community in which we find ourselves. I am also my father's daughter. The only expectation was that we always try to do our best at whatever task we undertook. The day I was sworn in, Dad told me that I should just focus on making the correct legal decisions, the right decisions, regardless of the outcome, even if that meant I only served one term. Lastly, my two children, John Patrick and Catherine. They keep me current, so to speak, humble me with their intelligence, incredible common sense, and their amazing computer research skills. Stop mumbling about how old is she anyhow, and taught me the meaning of unconditional love. I am a better person because of them. Just because this is a Lifetime Achievement Award doesn't mean that I'm done. Thank you for making this the best job ever, even on its worst day. And me, one of the most fortunate people on the planet. Thank you very much.
And now, our third and final award of the evening, the Judicial Officer of the Year Award to the Honorable Bryan F. Foster. The Judicial Officer of the Year Award is an annual award which honors a current or retired judge, commissioner, or Court of Appeals justice from San Bernardino County, Eastern Los Angeles County, or Riverside County, who has demonstrated a long-term commitment to the local, legal, and judicial community, including significant work in upholding and providing impartial justice for all, improving the interaction between the judiciary and the bar, improving access for law and moderate-income litigants to the court system, exhibiting appropriate judicial demeanor, and improving the efficiency and the effectiveness of the court system. It's my pleasure to introduce William Weathers to speak about Judge Foster.
Good evening. I'm honored to say a few words about my dear friend, Judge Bryan Foster, your Judicial Officer of the Year. I send greetings from Puerto Vallarta, where I'm isolating, and I apologize for the setting and the ambient noise, but this unfortunately is the best I can come up with for a place to record this message, and the view's not so bad behind me either. There are two things I'd like to share with you about Bryan Foster that you may or may not know. The first is that he is someone I would consider to be the epitome of a Renaissance man. Judge Foster is very intelligent, he's well-read, well-traveled, well-informed, and the exact kind of person you'd want on your Trivial Pursuit team. I've thought about what things must have been like when the three Foster boys were young, and I can imagine one of them asking Nancy, "Mommy, why is the sky blue?" She might respond, "I don't know, why don't you ask your father?" To which the boy would reply, "That's okay, I don't want to know that much about it." So I'm sure Judge Foster can answer that question and give you a scientific explanation for the color of the sky. The second thing that people who know him well are clearly aware of is that he has a well-developed sense of humor. He's quite a raconteur, and he's always quick with a story or an incident to help entertain his audience, his friends, and so forth. One of the things he's done for his prospective jurors is put together a series of humorous clips from various legal related movies, such as My Cousin Vinny, and it used that clip to introduce the jury to a legal concept or a particular issue, evidentiary or otherwise, that they might encounter, and use that to as a basis for explaining the particular matter to the prospective jurors. He is also well known for his sense of humor and his self-deprecation. He has served as master of ceremonies and been very entertaining in dealing with various legal and other community organizations. I first met Judge Foster about 35 years ago when we tried a case against each other in Indio involving my client, who suffered second and third degree burns from scalding water in a hotel shower, where the hot water came on suddenly and she was unable to slide the door open to get out from underneath its scalding water. She had come to California to search out a group known as Jews for Jesus. She was a devout religious woman, but she also had a difficult home life and reported bouts of depression, despondency, and she advised the doctors and nurses that she was having suicidal thoughts when this happened. My memory of this case is quite a bit better because Judge Foster took great delight in sharing this story of this case with various friends and acquaintances over the years, bringing the unpleasantness of the whole experience to mind, laughing about how he had persuaded a jury that I had a client who was trying to commit suicide by taking a hot shower. He also has become a better friend of my wife and myself, along with his wife Nancy, due to our association with each other and our spouses in the American Board of Trial Advocates, where we served both as officers of the local chapter as well as on the National Board of Directors, where we often traveled around the country and even internationally on several occasions. I've never tried a case in his department, but when I have been there, especially on initial appearances on new cases, he is quick to point out to opposing counsel, especially if they're from out of town, that we're friends, that we socialize and have traveled together. And he assures them that he can be fair, that he's not going to recuse himself, but he also wants them to know that he would take great pleasure should the occasion arise where he could rule against me on an important issue or a matter of evidence. And as a consequence, I don't recall any of the opposing counsel ever asking to receive a new judge on the case. So, in conclusion, Bud, as he's known to his friends and family, I want to tell you how proud I am to have you as a friend, how proud I am of your professional accomplishments as a lawyer, as a trial lawyer, and as a judge. Under different circumstances, at a different time, we would be together personally this evening, and I would greet you with a hug and a congratulations for your accomplishments and recognition. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, you'll have to accept this as a virtual hug. Please know that Terry and I send our love to you and Nancy. We wish you well. We can't wait to see you again when things return back to normal. Take care, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
At this time, it is a great pleasure and honor to introduce our next speaker, who will talk about Judge Foster. I have to talk a little bit about this speaker because he truly is my mentor, a person I look up to greatly, and quite frankly, I don't think I'd be sitting here in front of you today talking and being the president of our Bar Association if it wasn't for the guidance, directions, love, and companionship of William D. Shapiro. Bill is a great lawyer. I owe so much of my life to Bill Shapiro, as do many, and I'm honored to introduce Bill to speak about our wonderful judge, Bryan F. Foster.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Shapiro, and it's truly an honor to be among you, as well as all here in this virtual setting, if you will, to honor three phenomenal jurists tonight. And it's truly a treasure and a pleasure to be able to comment on and introduce our Judicial Bench Officer of the Year with the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, the Judicial Officer of the Year, Judge Bryan Foster. We've all known Judge Foster for many years. Many of us have tried cases and appeared before him. We've had him for the various hearings, and we've come to know him as obviously a dutiful judge, clearly knowledgeable in the law. We've experienced his application of the facts to the law and his undying desire to have a fair and just outcome. But when there's a selection to be made for a individual judge to be selected as the judge of the year, if you will, it's not just their knowledge of the law, it's the other factors that comprise greatness as far as judges go. Those factors, at least in my mind, and I know in those who made this selection, include the dedication that they have to the process, dedication to the law and dedication to the litigants to have a just and true outcome. But in my mind, it goes beyond that. Because to be a trial judge of the year, you have to have the whole package. And the whole package includes being conscientious, being dedicated, being compassionate to both sides, being mindful, and being welcoming of the lawyers, and being tolerant. He eases the minds of the jurors. He has a unique approach to voir dire that is solely his own, and he couples the law, the facts of any given case, and most importantly, in his own special way, a sense of humor that doesn't get lost by anyone. Before he was a judge, he was a trial lawyer. And as a trial lawyer, unique to him, he tried many cases, and he knows what it's like to be on the defense, because he was on the defense. He knows what it's like to be on the plaintiff's end, because he was on the plaintiff's end. And because of that background knowledge that he's had, because of his experience as a lawyer, coupled with being a judge, he's truly an amazing judge from the standpoint of being able to let lawyers try their case and assist the process as best that a judge can. Now, I talk about compassion with Judge Foster and passion itself. I talk about those things because I knew him as a lawyer. I know him as a father. I know him as a husband. And the qualities that Judge Foster demonstrates on the bench, they go beyond the bench, because those qualities are the qualities that Judge Foster demonstrates throughout his life. We're so lucky to have him on our bench and have had him for so many years. And I'm hoping we'll have him for a lot longer. You know, his family is so behind him. His beautiful wife, Nancy, he's got great kids, and a father of 3 sons who's frankly been through more mills than I have with 3 sons. But he is truly, when I talk about a trial judge of the year, I consider Judge Foster more of a person of the year. He is truly the kind of a man, kind of a person, who you want to hear your case. The lawyers that appear before him, if they were the litigant, they would want Judge Foster hearing that case. All I want to do is I want to congratulate the Honorable Judge Bryan Foster. I want to congratulate his family, his wife Nancy, and his sons. And I want to celebrate his being our 2021 Western San Bernardino County Bar Association Bench Officer of the Year. And I introduce Judge Bryan Foster. Thank you very much.
Our final speaker to talk about Judge Foster is also a dear friend, great lawyer, mentor, and I just have to briefly tell a little story about Jeffrey Raines. A few months back, I asked Jeff to help out on a case that I was representing a deputy sheriff accused of potentially committing a very vicious act on a child. And there was much medical information that needed to be go through. Jeffrey jumped at the chance to help. And I have to say, as a result of Jeffrey's work, that one, no charges were filed against my client, who was completely innocent. And my client and his wife were able to get their 2 children back through a very difficult 300 WNIC system. So Jeff, I can't thank you enough for teaching me, mentoring me, and most importantly, thank you for your work for my client. You truly saved his life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor. I present Jeffrey Raines to talk about the Honorable Bryan F. Foster.
When Judge Foster ordered me to share my comments this evening, he only informed me that it would be a great opportunity for me to honor a legal scholar, both a very accomplished trial attorney and a leader in our community. My mind was racing a bit, and I interrupted him, and I said, well, that's not going to be a problem for me. I already have 3 of those speeches written and saved for Bill Shapiro that I've given in the past. The judge sharply cut me off at that point and informed me that my talk indeed was going to focus on him, on Judge Foster, as this year's recipient of the Western Bar Association's Judge of the Year. Immediately, I congratulated him for an honor so richly deserved, but I thought this may be a difficult task, honoring Judge Foster and our friendship and his accomplishments in 4 minutes. Well, my first thought was, what an honor it is for the judge to receive this award in 2021, recognizing his accomplishments from not only his career, but predominantly from the year 2020. I reminisced about his 20-odd years on the bench and the hallmark of his career as a bench officer, his leadership positions, the many, many trials that he had conducted and the lives that he has affected. He is unfailingly courteous, he's punctual, he's fair, and he's constantly engaged in trial. Of course, he should be recognized. Again, I thought, well, there's no problem highlighting last year's accomplishments, but then I realized that during this past year, he had heard very few motions for summary judgment, done very few mandatory settlement conferences, saw few attorneys in person, ruled on a handful probably of dispositive motions, because over the last 9 months, unfortunately, the courts were predominantly closed because of COVID. Moreover, he didn't try a civil case during that time. Could it be that Judge Foster is being recognized in perpetuity for doing less better than his peers? Could it be that in a year that he did, well, less judging, if you will, than any of the other years, he did it terrifically? Well, I hardly think that's the logical conclusion. There are a few judges in this county that combine the feelings of civility, the exercise of professionalism with the scholarship and the aplomb of Bud Foster. Attorneys are always welcomed into his court, both by the judge and by his staff. His colleagues respect and understand him, and we understand that his work is difficult, but importantly, Judge Foster understands that our work is difficult and our work is necessary, and that by working together, the lawyers with Judge Foster, we will accomplish much more for the people who have a right to that courtroom. Well, in Judge Foster's court, trials always begin with a cartoon. Yes, with a cartoon that's showed to the jury. It's a roadmap of what occurs before our Spencer Tracy's stand up before them and tell them how important their case is going to be. And it reminds me undoubtedly of what it was like for Judge Foster and for many of us when we were kids. And we always saw cartoons before we ever saw the Western. Well, Judge Foster presides over his trials with confidence. He presides over his trials with precision. And it fits his tall, his strong, his noble physique. Sure, that physique, that strength permitted him to be accomplished as a high school football player and a college football player. But sometimes for very large men, certain things are taken for granted. It's taken for granted their confidence and their strength and how certain things are easier for them than others. That's not always the case. I recognize that Bryan worked tirelessly as a young attorney to hone his craft, beginning at Kinkle, Rodiger, and Spriggs, and moving, of course, to his partnership with Judge Driscoll and many more. And as he did work to become not only the great lawyer that he became, he was also a great family man. Married to Nancy and having 3 scrapping sons waiting for him to return each night, Nancy with a kiss and the boys with a punch to the gut, undoubtedly. He had quite a family and quite a career. He became an excellent trial attorney and was honored by the American Board of Trial Advocates as a member in that organization. Today, he sits as senior judge in the San Bernardino Superior Court. I'm sure he's anxious to try his next lawsuit at this point because he's excelled on the bench his entire life. He's excelled on the bench, he's excelled at home. His love story with Nancy and his boys, has above all given him his greatest pleasure. He had 3 wonderful sons, but presided over perhaps his most tragic case, sadly within his own home. When his family lost Brett shortly before he was ready to sit for the bar exam, Bud, Nancy, and all of their friends, including me, looked to Bud for our strength and received just that. He sat tall. He was solid, not only as a judge, but as a leader of a family. He allowed those to cry and hug and somehow be absorbed in that large Judge Foster body. And as a father and a husband, he shepherded his family and his grandkids back to health and back to happiness. He's done that for so many people, not only in his home, but on the bench. He has a way of making the clients in his courtroom special because it's their room. So Judge Foster, Bryan, Bud, to your friends, from all of your colleagues and all of your friends, congratulations on receiving this distinguished career achievement. You've lived up to your own lofty goals, your own standard as a big man. You played a good game, Bud. Fight on.
At this time, it's my honor to ask the Honorable Bryan F. Foster to come forward to accept his Judicial Officer of the Year Award. Judge Foster, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and a big thanks from everyone you help constantly throughout your daily life. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank the members and the officers of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association for this award. There's also others that I want to thank that have been instrumental in whatever success I've had. There's something I've been asked to read. I am not under any form of duress in making this statement. I have not been threatened or coerced in any way. My life has not been threatened, nor have I been subjected to any form of torture. I have been treated fairly and kindly. This statement is made by my own free will. I owe everything I have done in my life to my wife. She is responsible for any ability I have. Without her guidance, I would be less than nothing. Did I say it okay? Okay, all right. All right. Actually, I did that facetiously. Actually, everything in that statement is true. Well, except for maybe the torture stuff. Marrying Nancy has been the best decision I ever made in my life. And to have gained her love has been my life's best accomplishment. And I want to thank her truly for everything that I've ever done has been as a result of her. Even though I said it kind of as a captive, that's not exactly right. She has captivated my heart. But anyway, I also want to give recognition to my family, my boys, Scott, Brett, and Keith, and my daughter-in-law, Christina, and my grandchildren, Michaela and Nathan. I'm so proud of them. They have been an inspiration to me in everything I've done. I also owe a debt of gratitude to my friends. So many of them have held out their hand in friendship for me during both good times and bad. I can't tell you how much it has meant to me, because often individuals are judged not by themselves, but the best judge for them is the people that actually like them, that they are friends with. And I have been lucky in my life to have wonderful friends, some of which have spoken for me today. I also want to mention my staff. I have the best staff in the world. I know everybody says that, but I really mean it. Robert, who's my court attendant, Kim, who's my court reporter, and Patricia, who is my judicial assistant, they are a joy to work with. They not only make my work easy, but they also make it fun. I consider them not only to be co-workers, but to be friends, and I've developed that relationship with them over years. Often when we when we have jury come in, I will go through and explain to the jury about the process, and then I'll tell them that I've developed a relationship with, excuse me, with a number of my staff, and I introduce them all. And then when I get to Patricia, I tell them, I said that, you know, you develop relationships with the people that you work with, and in my case, as far as Patricia is concerned, just to prove the point, I married Patricia a little over 2 years ago. Well, I performed the ceremony, but that's usually when I get responses to that, it is usually either like or you know, so that's where we go. But Patricia and I have a really good relationship. I have a great relationship with Kim and Robert, and like I said, they are friends, not just co-workers. I also want to thank all of the attorneys that have appeared in front of me, and also the attorneys that I have met and associated with in legal surroundings such as this. You know, Jerry Seinfeld made a comment once. He said that we all go through life like it's a game. We roll the dice, we move the pieces, but every once in a while a dispute comes up as to how the game should be played. When that happens, people turn to the attorneys because they're the only ones who have read the rules that are on the top of the box. And you as attorneys really are instrumental in the lives of your clients because you give them the rules of life, the rules that govern the way that our life works. And I want to thank all of you, and I appreciate everything that you've done, not only for your clients, but also your assistance for me. You know, I thought about what to talk about. They suggested that, you know, different things that I might say, but one of the things that I wanted to say has to do with judicial philosophy. And I looked up the definition of the phrase judicial philosophy. It refers to the underlying set of ideas and beliefs of a particular judge or justice which shapes his or her rulings on particular cases. I actually think that the judicial philosophy is more than just it does more than just describe how what the judge does, but it also should describe how the judge does the judge's job. A judicial philosophy is a statement as to how the judge goes about fostering justice. In dealing with litigants and jurors, I think a judge's role is threefold. First, it is to explain the process to the parties that are there, to talk to them about exactly what is going on, why we're here, what are the things that they should know and what they can expect in terms of how the case moves forward or the process moves forward. The second thing is that, especially in terms of jurors, the judge's role is to investigate the jurors to see whether or not they can be fair, or if they're litigants, to be able to talk to them to make sure that they understand the importance of being truthful and to not exaggerate or not minimize the things that they're talking about, is to actually be as receptive as possible to the facts and the law. And the third thing is that I think a judge's role is to condition the litigants or jurors to be receptive to the questioning and the manner in which the attorneys are interacting with them, to be comfortable with the attorneys asking them questions or to responding to the questions that they have. that's what the judge is there, is to try to do that. Now, I usually do it with a little bit of humor. I try to use humor in terms of that to make people feel more comfortable. There are other ways that judges can do that, but that's how I've selected to do that, to make them feel more at ease in the courtroom. I also, in dealing with counsel, I think a judge's role is to create an atmosphere that makes them comfortable. And here's where I really use a lot of humor. I think sometimes people think I abuse attorneys by this, but it's not meant in that vein, and I think most attorneys understand that, is that I use humor as a way to make them feel more comfortable of interacting with me, to let them know that I'm there to assist them in interacting on the issues of fact and law that are involved, and to make sure that they understand the reason why I'm making the decisions I'm making, and to give them a chance to interact with me so that it is more like a cooperative process rather than one that is dictatorial in nature. I was told when I got this award, I was told that when, I guess some of the comments that were made, somebody made a comment that they thought that appearing before me was like appearing before an uncle in court. It would have been better if they said an older brother, but you know, I'll let that pass. That's exactly what I want attorneys to feel like when they come into my department. I want them to feel that I'm there to try to assist them in their task. I'm not there to try to dominate or intimidate them. That's not my purpose, and that's not my role. My role is to work with them to try to reach a resolution of the disputes that are before me. You know, I used to tell my staff when I was in practice that there are very few people in the world that I can outsmart. But I wanted to always make sure that there was no one that I couldn't out-nice. That is what I've tried to accomplish, not only as a practitioner, but also as a judge. This award means a lot to me because it says to me that being nice is something that can be recognized. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this award. Thank you very much.
This concludes our 12th Annual Judicial Officer Award Ceremony. I want to thank each and every one who attended virtually. I want to thank everyone for putting this program together. I want to thank the Board of Directors of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank for all our hard work our great Executive Director, Lindsay Partridge. Lindsay, you are an amazing person, and thank you for all your great work and everything you do for our Bar Association. Well, we're nearing the end of our program, but in typical fashion of being the bar president, I want to talk about a couple bar events. And the next two that are coming up are two MCLEs. The first one is going to be presented virtually on March 25th. And this is heavy stuff. It's good stuff. Tax consideration for non-tax attorneys, presented by attorney Thomas Lamons. Our second MCLE that's upcoming is going to be virtually presented on April 22nd. And it's titled Welcome to the World of Online Dispute Resolution, presented by our wonderful 2020 Jennifer Brooks Lawyer of the Year Award winner, attorney Sohaila Azizi. Well, folks, I want to thank you one last time, and I look forward to seeing everyone, and I hope in person, in October for our 2021 installation dinner and Jennifer Brooks Award ceremony. Thank you so much. Good night.